In the last video, we discovered that fuel is cheaper now than it was 40 years ago on average. Today, we're going to investigate the housing market. Before I start reeling off numbers, I just want to make it clear that there were so many inconsistencies in the data that I was researching, and this was from ONS, the Office of National Statistics, and the Land Registry. They had conflicting data, so I've just tried to piece together the most reasonable results, essentially. The average house price in 1986 was £36,000, and in 2023 it was £285,000. When you take the price from 1986 and adjust it for inflation, it's around £101,000. Now let's compare the wages. In 86, the average salary per week was £185, and in 2023 it's £710. Now, the easiest way to visualise how the price of housing has changed is to divide the value of the house by the weekly salary. This will give us how many weeks it would take to earn the value of that house in that time. In 86, it would take 195 weeks to earn the price of a house. And in 2023, it now takes 400 weeks to earn the price of a house. This is a 105% increase relative to wages. But this isn't quite right. This isn't stopping people from buying houses. In fact, it could be making it easier for people to buy houses they can't afford. And this is due to the fact that interest rates hovered around 11 to 15% during 1986, and today they're closer to 4.5%. But this doesn't necessarily mean that houses have gone up. It just means that consumers are buying more expensive housing because the banks will lend them more. In 86, a bank would only lend you 3 times your wages, and now they'll lend you about 4.5 times your wages. According to the government data, in 86, someone buying the average house of £36,000 on average was earning £13,000. That's 2.8 times their income. And in 2023, someone buying the average house of £330,000 when they're mortgaging, so it's more than the £285,000, they would be earning £72,000 per year on average, which is 4.6 times their income. However, this has inflated the housing market, as more people can buy houses and more people can buy more expensive houses that they probably shouldn't be able to buy, because it's just spreading that cost further, and they probably end up spending more interest over time than they were in the 80s. And getting median prices is really hard. Near impossible when you're trying to factor it in for the 80s. They had limited data then. They do have data now, but it's so close to the sale prices of houses that I think that's why they've never really bothered researching it, because the final sale price basically does the job well enough. But there are so many factors contributing to the rising house prices, especially today when there's so many more regulations for safety and insulation. So it's clear, the average price of houses has definitely risen, due to banks lending more, lower interest rates, and the fact that people want to buy more expensive housing. But now it's time to look at rent, a key factor in stalling people climbing the housing ladder. Unfortunately, rent data is limited during the 80s, but it was around £80 per month, and the average earnings was £740 per month. In 2025, average rent is £1,200 a month, and the average earnings is £2,800 a month. This means that in 1986, rent took up over 10% of your wages. And in 2025, it takes up over 40% of your wages. Rent has become nearly 4 times more expensive since the 80s.